Welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2017. We are being recorded and it will be showing live on Channel 9 during the meeting, and will be re-shown on Channel 9 several times. So, that being said, why don't we start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I want to mention a few things as we get started here, because there's been a lot going on in our town. And one of the big things, I put it on Facebook today, but we had the bid opening for the general contractor for the police station. And we actually, there was, I think, 9 bids. Several of them came in below budget, so which is very encouraging. The project manager was Pomfrey Incorporated. They'll look at all the bids and put something together to make a recommendation, but they have to, make sure they're valid and all that kind of stuff. So that's a very encouraging thing. We're also in the process of hiring a new fire chief, as I think everybody probably knows. We started the process last night, or 2 nights ago, I'm sorry, and we had a chief from, fire chief from Duxbury come down and work with us to kind of help us out what things we want to look for in a new chief, because we don't have that expertise. So it was very helpful. So we hope to start interviews here in the next week or so with that process. The other thing, I think a lot of you know Bob Mullen. Bob is really doing very, very well. So I see him a couple times a week, but I talked to him tonight, and he sounds great, feels great, so things are really going well for him, considering what it was a year and a half ago. So anyways, he loves company, so if anybody wants to stop by and see him, stop by. Okay, that being said, do we have any other public input? Okay.
I've got one thing.
Yep.
Have you heard anything on the annex for the town hall, or whatever you're going to call it?
That's a good. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later on. We have some tradesmen that we're putting on payroll consultants that'll be working on. But I'll talk about it. Right. Yeah. I'll talk about that in a minute. Anything else, Tom?
No, do you have the announcement for Hazardous?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get that to do. Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, we don't. Well, let's get our new health agent sworn in, and then maybe you can talk a little about that. Okay. Well, why don't you introduce Todd? Yeah.
Okay, I think I'd like to introduce you to Todd Pilling. He's going to, after this evening, be our new all-around health agent. As in the past, we've had 3 different individuals doing certain portions of our Board of Health work. We had a perk agent, we had a food inspector, and somebody that did soil observations. With Todd's expertise in the field, he has all the qualifications that we were looking for to do all of those things, including our favorite, stormwater. And, so
I'm a professional engineer. So.
Okay.
We had 4 applications, and we reviewed them, and Todd was one of the 3 finalists. We did 3 interviews, and he had what we were looking for. It's quite proud, because I think it's a historical moment for the town. It's our first, it's a part-time agent, but for us it'll be full-time, part-time. And, since the splitting of the board, and so I think we finally got there, and I know he'll do a good job for the town. we've talked a lot since, and a little bit of brush up on some things, but other than that,
Great.
I feel we do a great job for the town, so.
Let me just read the appointment. Mr. Todd Pilling, by virtue of the authority in the office of the Board of Selectmen, you're hereby appointed on 8/23/2017 as an agent to the Board of Health for the town of Dayton for a one-year term to end on June 30th, 2018. And with that, we have our clerk to swear you in.
I can make a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Getting ahead of myself here.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we appoint Todd Pilling to the position of health agent for the town of Dayton.
And I'll step down and second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations. We're appointed Sue to Sumideris, our town clerk. She'll
How are you?
do the swearing in.
Congratulations. Todd, if you raise your right hand, you solemnly swear that you faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as an appointed officer in the town of Dayton, in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth of Mass and the bylaws of the town of Dayton, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations. Very good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Would you like to say anything to the people of the town of Dayton?
I guess not yet. I'm excited about this. I live in Berkeley, so kind of a small town boy, and kind of looking to change the pace. I've been running my own engineering business for like 16 years, and it's time for a change.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. And the board is great. All of the members have experience and knowledge, and the administrative assistant is phenomenal at keeping things straight. So it's a good place to be stepping into.
Great.
Good.
Well, glad to have you. Welcome
Welcome.
aboard. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you're into stormwater because, as we all know, it got delayed for a year, but Tom Ferry and I will be working on the new permit, so I'm sure we're going to be talking to you about that whole process, because once we get this permit done this time, it's all going over to the Board of Health. The only reason that Tommy and I are still working on it is because I was the past chairman of the Board of Health, and we didn't want to dump this on the new board, so, but they'll be involved too, but,
Well, we got a lot, it sounds like we got a lot going on in the next few months here to get
Yes.
ourselves up to speed and,
Yep.
you know, and then we'll attack any front we need to attack.
right. And the other thing about the stormwater program is the town has submitted an application to be designated as part of the community cabinet program that the state has under the Weed Whacker bill.
Okay.
One of the things in there, best practices under that application, is a re-education of stormwater program. And this time, we're going to touch on all four areas that are required as far as adults, businesses, school children, so forth and so on. So we've also got that going, that's got a connection to stormwater. So we'll let you know about that too, just for informational purposes. You won't have to do anything initially, but just to let you know that that's in the works.
Sounds good? All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Okay.
You want to mention about the...
Yeah, once you mentioned about the hazmat or hazardous disposal.
This has been a while coming to. We're going to end up having our household hazardous waste day on Saturday, November 4th at the transfer station, like we always have in the past. The time will be 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this year, different than prior years, there will be no per car charge to defray the cost. So the whole thing will be free, no $10 per car cost. And then they want to caution people, you can bring mostly anything you want except radioactive stuff and latex paint, especially latex paint. That's the most paint everybody has left over in their houses. You know, we will not be accepting that. You can dry that out with sawdust or shredded newspaper,
Kitty litter.
stick it in the sun for a few days, and then you can put it right in the trash. So, other than that, pretty much everything will be accepted. And, we do have it out on, I believe it's out now on our town website page. And, be about the same as prior years, so.
Okay.
If anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, but other than that,
It's on the website, so look on there. If you have any questions, you can call either downstairs to
Yeah.
Rosalind, or you can
Yeah.
call here, and we'll make sure you get the right information.
okay.
Thanks.
There's something else I was gonna say, but I forgot what it was.
If you
I'll
think
think of
of
it after I
If
leave.
you think of it, we'll let you come back.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you very much for, I think,
Been a long time coming.
yeah, few years.
Congratulations.
And to think that we got an engineer, too.
That's it.
Those disqualifications were
So he'll be able to review the septic plans.
correct.
Oh, that's good.
That was, actually, he has everything we wanted. He was well, to review the plans, you gotta be a sanitarian or engineer. And he was an engineer, so, certifications were, other than being a civil engineer, a soil evaluator, septic system inspector, Title V, at ServSafe. So, and the stormwater was a plus as far as we're concerned and reviews, so, I think it was a good choice by the board, so,
Good job finding them.
moving ahead.
That's good. That's good. You touched all the bases.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, under new business, the first one is the final marijuana law. Do you have something on that?
No, I don't have anything on this per se. There was communication about this. House 3818. Do you remember seeing that?
No, I looked it up online and it's like a 20-page.
So why don't we take,
What-
Why don't we
what-
ta-
The
table
reason, I think, yeah, we're gonna have to table it till we get the whole thing. The reason that I mentioned that was because there are some,
Local authorities, just local.
one of the requirements is based, this was in the MMA newsletter, the Beacon that came out. If your community approved medical marijuana, no, wait a minute, it wasn't medical, it was recreational marijuana. There has to be a bylaw established, so we're gonna have to set up
let's
a
see if
committee
we
to do
want
that.
to do that, yeah.
No, it's a mandatory thing.
To do it, but if you can have it recreational, yeah. Let's
No,
wait till
it's
we,
based on, it's just a short thing, could I see that? It's based on your town's vote. And
understand.
if you don't do it right away, if you're not required to do it away, it is mandatory down the road, so they're gonna get you one way or another. Briefly, in communities where question 4 passed, the municipal government must prepare an ordinance or bylaw, which must then be reviewed and summarized by, it says municipal council, that would be the Board of Selectmen. Following this review, the question, by a vote of the Board of Selectmen, with the approval of the Board of Selectmen, must be placed on a ballot at a regular or special municipal election. The law does not provide language for the ballot question as suggested. The language that's suggested is in House 3818. After December 31st, 2019, this ballot question requirement will apply to every city and town. So right now, it's if your community
right.
passed it, so just,
So let me correct this. I think what you said is if we passed it at the general election, then we have to go to the town meeting to get a vote whether we want to do medical marijuana. That's how I interpreted that.
no, not medical, it's.
I mean, recreational.
Recreational.
Yeah, totally
Yes.
different than medical.
And I think they finally figured out the tax rate, right?
I believe we did pass it, because I had asked about that, and I think it did pass in this town, but it's not gonna happen right away, but we just want people to understand that with all of the discussion about recreational marijuana and what finally came out of the House and the Senate, MMA summarized this, so down the road, we are going to have to comply with this. And it talks about the taxes and all that other stuff, but there will be some, we will have further discussion and agenda items as they relate to the final marijuana bill.
Yeah, I just think don't want people to worry about recreational marijuana yet. Medical marijuana is a different story. We're trying to attract a company to do medical marijuana, but totally different than recreational.
Right.
So, and we'll get more information to you on that. Do you have anything on the permit fees for nonprofits?
It was just a discussion.
Oh, so, Mr. Chairman, what happened on this was, an electrician came in to get a permit for one of the churches in town. And the question was, do we waive the permit fee on this because it's a nonprofit? And when we looked back, it looks like it's been kind of haphazard. Some did and some didn't. And in one case, one church got a waiver of one fee for an electrical job and paid an electrical fee for the other job. And it just seems that going down the road, we need to develop a policy, the board does, so that we can, there won't be a question, what do we do about this or what do we do about
Right.
that? So,
Consistent policy, absolutely.
so we need to develop a policy. What happened with that one last week, that was the meeting when you were away. Brett and I voted to waive the fee on
that
that
one.
particular
Right.
permit because we were bringing this forward tonight.
Okay.
Okay?
So I think what we need to do is, again, probably table this, but have a further discussion, maybe get some more information from our building commissioner on what kind of fees have been paid by nonprofits or not, and then come up with a policy that will be a clear policy, so that we won't be doing it on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
That's really, I think, what you're saying.
And they won't have to ask every time.
Right.
It'll be clear. So I'm going to make a motion that we table action on this. Actually, I'm going to make a motion that we table action on both the marijuana law bill and the permit fees for nonprofits until a future meeting.
Okay, so I'll step down in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion's carried. Okay, review one-day liquor license for Westport Rivers Vineyard and Wines. Okay, the Westport River and Wine, Vineyard and Wines is requesting a one-day liquor license. They're holding an event, Bristol Aggie School Educational Foundation. That will be on September 16th, 6 to 9 p.m. They'll be serving all the liquor. The servers have been trained in alcohol service. They have a liquor liability policy in place, so, and permission has been received from the property owners, which is the Aggie. Okay, with that, I'll make a motion.
Oh, this is the fall, is this the fall event that,
Yes, that's
one of the commissioners came in about this and was talking about it?
Mr. Mitchell.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's only for beer and wine, it's not for hard liquor. They had something like this in 2012 when they celebrated their 100th anniversary. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the application for a one-day beer and wine license for Westport Rivers and Vineyard and Winery for an event at Bristol County Agricultural High School on September 16th from 6 to 9 p.m.
I'll step down and second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Soil removal permit application from DeRosa Landscaping. Okay. We're actually acting, we're also the Soil Conservation Board, so we're kind of acting as the Soil Conservation Board for this. But Mr. DeRosa, who owns, David DeRosa, who owns DeRosa Companies Incorporated, on 2040 County Street, down here next to Almeida's Market, has requested a soil removal permit. Let me try to lose myself. And in order to to do this, we can't just approve it here. There will be a public hearing that will take place. So, had we come up with a recommendation?
I think you're just going to discuss the date for the hearing.
Okay.
Which could happen at your next selectmen's meeting.
The hearing could be at the, okay. Yeah, okay.
Could be likely to.
Okay, what this, let me read the article that this falls under. Removal of sand, gravel, loam, or soil from land in Dayton is prohibited until a permit authorizing such removal is issued by the appropriate authority, and that would be us. No permit shall be issued until a public hearing has been held. Notice the hearing is to be published at least in one local newspaper 7 days prior to the hearing. All abutters are to be notified by registered mail 7 days before the hearing. This bylaw is to be administered and managed by a committee called the Soil Conservation Board, consisting of the 3 selectmen and 4 appointees to be appointed by the selectmen on a yearly basis. Soil Conservation Board shall have the authority to establish general rules and regulations and set fees for mining and removal of sand, gravel, soil, and loam in the town of Dayton, and shall have the authority to place specific conditions on all removal permits that it issues. So we will put the notification in the paper, and then we'll plan on having this probably prior to our next selectmen meeting, I think, or,
You have to give the 1 week's notice, so if you had it at your September 6th meeting, that would be plenty of
Yeah,
time
2
to
weeks.
get the letters out.
okay, okay,
and Put it in the paper.
yeah, okay.
That would work for you as far as doing it?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we set the date for the public hearing on the soil removal permit application of DeRosa Landscaping. Excuse me, make that DeRosa Companies Incorporated, for September the 6th, 2017 at, want to go 7 PM?
Yeah, that should be
7
enough time.
PM?
7 PM.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's September 6th at 7 PM here at Town Hall.
Okay. I will step down and second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. You know, one thing I forgot to do in the beginning, I made all these notes, but I forgot to read the main line. You know, if you've watched Facebook or you've seen some of the stuff going on, our police department is really out there supporting the community, but also interacting with kids. And if you saw it, I think last Saturday, somebody had a birthday, and they were down at the police station, and I forget which 2 officers were involved, but it speaks to the whole department. They were down there congratulating him on his birthday with the cruiser, and he was, from what I heard, he was absolutely thrilled. Today I saw something else that, it looks like a woman who has childcare in her home. Several police officers went down there, she didn't even get their names, but they went down there and made them honorary police officers for Dayton, and they were thrilled. So I just want to commend the whole police department, and particularly those officers that were involved, but I know you're all involved all the time, so I want to commend the whole police department for, you know, reaching out to the community and interacting with young people and really having a good impact and a good effect on that, and really being role models for young people. So I really want to thank you for that, so good job. Okay, now we can go back to the agenda.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, we got that. Request to dispose of unused equipment from the sewer department. So we got this request from the sewer department, and it concerns a Canon copier that is not functioning, is obsolete, and they're requesting that we dispose of it. The information on the copier is a Canon Image Run 330S, model IR3305, serial number NNY13503. I guess it's not working, so it is no use to us,
Just
so.
like the Canon copy, that's it.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the request of the sewer department to dispose of a non-functioning Canon 330S copier.
Okay, I'll step down in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Karen, if you could just notify the Finance Committee about that, because they're going to have to act on it too.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a hearing request for a transfer of a liquor license.
Whole application.
There's just one though, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So really what the purpose of bringing this up tonight is we just have to, before we can do that, again, there has to be a public hearing. So we need to schedule that public hearing. And so let me just, it's the application is for Viniac Incorporated. The address will be 102 Lincoln Ave. That's where they will be. Let me see what we got here. Somewhere it tells us who it's coming from, right? Mount Hope Liquors, okay, Mount.
It'll be a transfer.
Okay.
so
Oh,
they'll
Village
notify
Liquors, isn't it?
Village.
Yeah, it used to,
Village Liquors.
Mount Hope Village.
They're right across from Bay Coast Bank. The-
Johnny's, right, it used to be Johnny's.
Used to be Johnny's, right? So they're requesting, it's just a transfer, so the process is a little bit easier than if it was a new liquor license. So again, this has to be put in the paper for, I assume, 7 days.
We don't have to do a butter, so you could make it card and then it's.
Yeah.
selected.
Why don't we do that? When do we do that, at 6:30? Okay, good time.
Does the hearing have to be outside of the selectmen's meeting?
No, it can be, it can happen.
It can happen during the meeting?
Yep.
Let's put it on the regular agenda up near the top, right after the
Okay.
pledge, because there's not normally opposition.
Okay, that's fine.
Uh,
If we think if we do that, that's fine. We'll just have to make sure it works.
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we set September the 6th during the regular selectmen's meeting for the date and time when a hearing will be held on the transfer of a liquor license for Village Liquors, is that what they call it? Village Liquors.
Right next to the Classic Barber Shop.
Yeah, I know where it is, I'm used to calling it Johnny's still.
I know, Johnny's sign is still up there for historical value.
The license, the new licensee is Vinayak Incorporated. Excuse me, the applicant is Vinayak Incorporated.
Okay, I'll step down in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Okay. Road opening permit for the Dayton Water District. Okay, this is from Mr. Ferry, I think. Permission is hereby, the request is to have a road opening for the new water service at 390 Main Street in Dayton to install a new water service. So,
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the road opening permit of the Dayton Water District for a new service at 390 Main Street.
okay, I'll step down in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Service agreement for town hall server and computers for terminal exchange. Just a side note, I kept calling terminal exchange terminal services. Somebody said, that doesn't sound good, so I've corrected myself. So what this is a contract, service agreement for them to maintain the servers and the computers in town hall. And we have 2 virtual servers, we have 1 hardware server, we have 20 desktops and laptops, and we have 1 gateway device in ISP. The annual recurring cost for the fee is $8,700, and setup has been waived. And I guess that's about all we really need to know. The rest of it is just standard contract.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the service agreement with Terminal exchange, as outlined in the contract, at an annual fee of $8,700.
Okay, I'll step down in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'll sign that later. Zipping right through these things. Okay, the next one is award bids for town tradesman contracts. And what this is, going back to Tom Borkin's question, we've had a really hard time finishing up the old Grange Hall to make it an annex of Town Hall, because we couldn't get anybody to bid on the work over there. So what our building commissioner has done, he put out RFPs looking for tradesmen that'll provide in-house services to us. So it won't just be for Town Hall, but if we need a plumber or an HVAC person or electrician, he can call on these people just to come in and do whatever work we need. But one of the first things he'll be asking them to do is try to finish up the annex. So we had the bid opening on 21st, which I guess was Monday, at 2 p.m. In this room, well, actually in that room, and so the awards went to the low bidder in each of the categories. Electrical goes to PRS Electric, the HVAC technician goes to Scott's Oil, and plumbing goes to Barabie's Plumbing and Heating Company, Incorporated. So they'll be on 24-hour call, basically.
Okay, so,
What was it, PRS, what was the second?
Yeah, she'll read it again.
okay, so, Mr. Chairman, I move that we appoint the following tradesmen for fiscal 18. Electrical services, PRS Electric, 3084 Millers Lane, Dayton, at a bid rate of $54.85 per hour for weekdays, nights, weekends, holidays, whatever we call them. We award the contract for HVAC technician to Scott's Oil Incorporated, 710 Main Street, Dayton, at the bid rate of $95 an hour for weekdays, $142.50 per hour for nights and weekends, and $190 an hour for holidays. And for the plumbing contract, Barabie's Plumbing and Heating. Does anybody know where they're from?
Yes, I think Somerset. Is it somewhere? I'll find it. Here we go. Yeah, they're at 116 County Drive in Somerset.
116 Country Drive in Somerset. And their bid was $75 an hour for a master plumber on weekdays, $35 an hour for apprentice plumber weekdays, $105 an hour for a master plumber at night or on weekends, $45 an hour for an apprentice plumber for nights and weekends, $145 an hour for a master plumber for holidays, and $65 an hour for an apprentice plumber on holidays.
Okay, I'll step down and second that. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Those prices sound high, however, they're really not high. Some,
As needed, right?
yes, as needed, but you know,
That's not prevailing wage, that's,
let me? No,
that's just what.
that's what they've bid on it, right?
No, they're not employees of the town,
Right.
they're contracted.
I'm with you, yeah.
Right.
Independent contractors.
They are, yep.
But anybody who's ever hired a plumber or electrician or whatever knows that those rates they sound high, but they're not that bad, so, okay. Okay. The next two items, date for the the fall town meeting.
This is just a list of the deadlines that would apply.
Here we go, okay.
To that.
So, I hope everybody put that on their calendar too, because we really would like you to come down and talk to us. Okay, so, rather than going through this twice, why don't you just read make the motion?
Okay.
And one of the keys to these dates is we've had to coordinate with everybody involved to make sure that they're all available on those days. And that includes the selectmen, the town moderator, the finance committee, the clerk.
We actually haven't done that yet.
Okay, but they'll be contingent on, yeah, they'll be
Okay,
contingent.
these will be tentative dates then. Mr. Chairman, I move that we tentatively set the following dates. The special fall town meeting would be Thursday, October 26th. Warrant article deadline would be September the 28th. The warrant will need to be signed by the board on October the 11th, and it needs to be posted on October the 12th. And the last day to register to vote for that special town meeting on October 26th is October 16th.
And just a little recap, you know, the process that has to take place, and that's why it seems like it's strung out a ways, but first we need to get the warrant articles in, and the selectmen need to review them and, you know, and determine which ones we want to go forward with. And then they have to go to the finance committee, and the finance committee then has to review them and make their recommendation based on available funds. And then we have to get it signed, and then, you know, we have to have it published or posted. So it'll come to, I think we'll probably do the same thing, we mail them out like we did last time, I suspect. We mailed them out for the annual town meeting, so we'll probably do the same thing for this. And then it'll be on the 26th of October.
Okay, these are tentative dates, subject to approval by all of the people that need to give approval up front. And if anything changes, we'll announce the changes. If not, we'll announce that these are going to be the actual dates, and we will announce this several times. But please make a note, special town meeting, October 26th, September 28th, the closing date.
And it's really everybody's opportunity and responsibility to get to vote on how we spend our money. So I hope a lot of people will attend. Okay, I'll step down. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we have some reserve fund transfers that we need to will recommend to the board, to the finance committee. Let's go through them one by one, I guess.
I just have a question, Karen, we don't have contracts yet for these tradesmen, right?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, the first transfer request that we have is in the amount of $12,000 this will be addressed at a finance committee meeting coming up in the next week or so, I hope, because we need these funds to transfer from reserve into operating accounts so we can pay some of these bills. The first one is $12,000, and that is going into an appropriation to pay for our liability insurance. It was budgeted at $115,000, and it's come in at $123,581, and we also need a few extra dollars in there to pay for some bonds that are coming up and that kind of thing. So that's the first request.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we vote to approve a transfer. Let me start over, Karen. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we vote to recommend to the Finance Committee a transfer of $12,000 to the insurance account, town's liability and bond insurance account. And this expenditure, this recommendation is based on unforeseen increase in insurance costs.
I'll step down and second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that one carries. The next one is in the amount of $8,135.40. It goes into the personnel accounts in the Board of Health, in the Zoning Board of Appeals Administrative Personnel account. So our recommendation is for $3,498.22 for the Board of Health account, and $4,637.18 for the Zoning Board of Appeals account, beginning in July 1st. This is a retroactive pay that needs to be put into the account for 2018 in order to pay the individual involved. So
Okay, do we have, Karen, do we have a running tally? Did the money get transferred for the sidewalk property owners?
no, we talked, that one's next.
There's a question on whether that one needs to happen, if you look at my.
Because there's, yeah,
That may not.
because there's enough money in there to cover that at the moment, so we don't need to make this transfer now, according to,
There's enough money where?
in the current, professional technical account.
And then it would be replenished at town meeting.
All right, professional technical is engineering and things of that nature.
But that's what this comes out of.
It did in the past.
The land taking easements and the legal fees? Okay, all right, so we got 12,000 here, and we got 8,100 here. Have we taken any other money out of that account?
There's 50,000 in there, I think, right?
Okay, so that will leave us just under 30,000
Yeah.
in the reserve account?
Until we get to the special, then other needs will be addressed at the special if we need to increase the size of the reserve account.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking is because you may be aware of a circumstance that we
Right.
need to address,
Right,
and we're gonna need money. We'll have to be,
So
I
I
think
think
we'll be looking for another transfer from reserve
right, we might be, yeah. So I
at a
think,
future meeting before the town
yeah.
meeting.
And these are only recommendations to the finance committee, so if we get to the finance committee and there's any issue, it'll be addressed there. These are only our recommendations, because finance will also make their own recommendations.
Okay, this sticky that you've got on here, has that been addressed with the town accountant?
I thought it was, but Ed's not sure.
And the answer was yes?
I'm not sure what that's.
It was,
Oh, pass it
was.
over so she can read it.
She would wear it both.
right.
Yes.
Okay,
Not sure what her answer was to that though, but
Well, I've been over this several times, and
there was a decision.
and it is an appropriate thing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we support a transfer from reserve in the amount of $8,135.40 as outlined on the transfer sheet for Board of Health and Board of Appeals personnel accounts effective July 1st, 2017, contingent on the approval of the town accountant.
Well, let's make it, I think we're recommending this to the finance
Yeah,
committee.
but they're also going to need her.
I know, so,
her
but that's it,
recommendation.
so rather than say support, I would like to see a motion to recommend.
Yeah, all right, so I will
Just,
change the word support to recommend to the finance committee. The transfer I just read, contingent on the approval of the town accountant.
see, the third one we have here,
Whoa, whoa,
yeah,
step
I'm
down a
sorry. I'll step down in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The third one we have here, we just briefly mentioned, is a transfer of funds to support the sidewalk project down here on Center Street. And it's the opinion of the chairman of the Finance Committee that we don't need to do this because there is funds in that account. So I would recommend that we probably table this as not necessary at this point.
Have all of the property owners been paid, picked up their checks?
One remains to be picked up, but that should happen this week.
Okay, all right.
So then there had to be money in the account to pay it, otherwise you wouldn't pay it.
Well, that's why this was filled out initially.
Right.
It was coming out of this initially. So, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we hold the request for a transfer of $28,400 for the property owners' easements on the Center Street sidewalk project, because it appears there are other funds available.
Okay, step down a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I'll sign those later. Okay. Are you here, Vicki, to talk about the federal park pass, or somebody else?
Well, it's an announcement, but I can talk to it if you need to.
You should, because it needs to be corrected, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we
Well,
have announcements in it. You're
Yeah.
announcing it.
Yeah, we haven't,
No, you're gonna do this one.
oh, I thought we had, okay. I'm sorry, we're in announcements, I missed that on one of the pages. So the date is October what?
There was no date on the website, it's a senior park pass for better or for national parks, and currently it's $10. In October, it'll be going up to $80. If you're gonna mail a check, you need to have it postmarked by August 28th, which is only a couple of days away. You can still, it's $10, and if you buy it like online, you use your credit card, you mail a check, there's also a $10 processing fee, so it would actually be $20. I just purchased mine. It's a lifetime pass to all national parks in the country for seniors 62 and over.
And you want to do that soon because it goes from $10 to $80. and
That's right.
So you save $70
Yeah,
if you do it.
just for those seniors that are not.
So if you do it, but you have to do it by August 28th.
You don't have to, if you're gonna mail them a check, it has to be
Okay.
postmarked. If you're gonna buy it
Online.
online, or
In
if
person.
you go to the national park, it's only $10. And the closest one is probably the National Seashore on the Cape.
New Bedford has a national park.
Does it? Okay, New Bedford.
So the
Roger
web,
Williams. Roger Williams is a national park.
Okay.
so the website is https://store.usgs.gov/senior-pass. We'll put that up on the website also, so people can get it down from there, but let me repeat that again. It's https://store.usgs.gov/senior-pass. So, be a good idea to do that. Okay, I'm gonna do
We've
that.
got one for years.
Yeah, I need to get one. Okay, let's
There's
do it.
also a state one,
Yeah,
state parks for seniors.
State parks are free for seniors, I believe.
But you have to
Get a
pay the
pass.
fee to get the pass.
Yes.
And then it's free lifetime. Yeah.
thanks. Let's do announcements. Trash bags, sharps disposal containers, and recycling stickers are all for sale at the Board of Selectmen's office. Call 508-669-6431 for more information, or come and see Karen, and she'll help you out. There's vacancies on the Historical Commission, Land Use Committee, Capital Outlay Committee, and the Community Preservation Committee has an opening for a Historical Commission representative and an opening for an at-large member. Is that still the case?
We had a
Why don't you come up here and tell us who you are and
I'm Jim Hewitt, I'm the chairman of the Historical Commission, and we had a meeting last night and passed a motion that appointed me as the Historical Commission representative to the CPC.
Great. So I guess we can make a motion to appoint you, and then can we do that? And then we can get the paperwork done, and Sue can swear him in. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion that we appoint Robert Diaruda?
James.
James Diaruda to the Community Preservation Committee, and he's the representative from the Historical Commission.
Okay, great. Oh. Step down a second. You don't usually second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations. If you see Sue sometime in the next few days, she'll get all the paperwork done for you. Okay, thank you. The Zoning Board of Appeals is also accepting applications for new members. So if you're interested in serving on a committee, it's a pretty good committee, gets involved in a lot of things going on in town. So come up and see Karen, I guess, and she has an application. You can fill it out and see if the Zoning Board of Appeals would like to appoint you. As I think everybody knows, we're now on our summer meeting schedule. Normal schedule will resume at our next meeting, September 6th. So after that, we're just meeting weekly. We've had a lot of meetings this summer, so hasn't been much of a summer meeting schedule, but that's okay.
Are we having, is there going to be a meeting next week?
No, September 6th is the next Selectmen meeting. Okay?
We don't think there is anyhow.
Yeah, right.
I want to know when I need to come.
September 6th. On September 6th, we've invited the Industrial Commercial Committee.
Development and Industrial Commission.
Development and Industrial Committee, okay. To come and kind of give us an update on what they're working on and where they're at. So we'll have that on the next meeting. Okay, Dayton Lions Club Food Bank distribution will be September 23rd from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. The clerk's office would like to remind all appointed individuals to come and be sworn in as soon as possible. I'm not sure how many are out there still that people haven't come in and got sworn in, but I suspect there's quite a few. So if you haven't appointed, or you don't know if you've been appointed, call the clerk's office, or stop by the clerk's office, and they can swear you in. Dayton Council on Aging, we're holding a flu clinic on October 26th in the lower level of Town Hall from 12 to 2. So that's a little bit ways away, but put that on your agenda also, so you can get your flu shot.
I have one announcement, Mr. Chairman. The Associates for Human Services in Taunton is holding their annual spaghetti supper and huge raffle on September 22nd. It's a Friday evening at 5 p.m. and it's at the Parish Center at St. Nicholas Church. This is usually a sellout, so if you're planning to go, get your tickets early, get in touch with the Associates for Human Services in Taunton. I usually call Deb Howland, but this is a very good event. This is one of the biggest. I think they only have 2 fundraisers all year long, and the money goes to help the clients that they service. So just a heads up, September 22nd at 5 p.m. This is a great event, a lot of fun.
Thank you. Give me all this next correspondence at the same time if you want. I can figure them out. Okay, thanks. We got a number of correspondence, and I'll read the first one, and Nancy will switch off and on here. The first one is the Bristol County the Mosquito Control Project. It makes truck-based ULV applications in the town of Dayton, typically on Wednesday mornings, weather permitting, between 2 a.m. and sunrise. Due to the high request volume in some towns, not all areas of town are completed in one day and may require additional applications the following weeks to complete all requests. To determine if your specific street is on the schedule for the following morning, please call the Bristol County Mosquito Control Project Answering Service line at 617-582-6218 after 3 p.m. the evening before your town's scheduled day. In addition, West Nile virus and EEE positive mosquito pools, increased mosquito populations, or human horse cases may increase spraying frequency or change the application date. To exclude private property from pesticide application, please visit the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources for information on pesticide exclusions. I could read it, but you'll never get it all down, so mass.gov, EEA, and that'll get you into the correct spot, and you'll be able to find it from there. If you'd like to have your property sprayed, to make a spraying request, you can call 508-823-5253, or email a spray request to request@bristolmcp@comcast.net. Please include your name and full address, including zip code. Okay, we'll have this information up here too.
What's
It's
that phone number again, 823-5253, yeah?
508-823-5253, or go on mass.gov/EEA, Bristol County Mosquito Control. Okay? Well, talk about the sidewalks or the pedestrian plan.
We received some correspondence from Serpent regarding some assistance that they are requesting. Serpent is seeking the assistance of our municipalities in developing a regional pedestrian plan. We are determining existing conditions and identifying gaps in the pedestrian network in the Serpent region. When completed, the plan will include ways to improve connectivity with other modes of transportation at the regional level. It will also assemble a detailed listing of prioritized recommendations for improving the network, inclusive of funding opportunities and best practices for implementation. We would greatly appreciate your help by completing the survey for city and town officials. And that tells us where to send it, where to get it. It's at SurveyMonkey. And they request that we post their link to our community website, which we will have done. And they have included a flyer for public posting, and we will put that also up in the foyer.
We'll also put it on the website.
Yeah. And it's Serpent's Regional Pedestrian Plan, the first step in making our communities more walkable. Okay, so that's what the intent is. I know there are some places in town where people have mentioned to me they would like to connect up certain areas with the sidewalks on Lincoln Avenue, because the sidewalk on Lincoln Avenue starts approximately near Lincoln Village. So if you're going north, you're all set. If you're going to go south on Lincoln Avenue, you're walking on the side of the road or you're on somebody's lawn or property. So I know that area has been talked about because it's a high walking traffic area, but it's also a high traffic area. And we'll have this information available to the general public.
Thank you. We also got a letter from the president of the board of the Bristol County Agricultural High School. It's addressed to our building commissioner, but let me read it for you. As you're aware, the Bristol County Agricultural High School has embarked upon a major expansion of its facilities in conjunction with the Mass School Building Authority, MSBA. The project, tentatively set to begin in 2018-2019, will involve a mix of renovation, new construction, and demolition of several existing structures on the Center Street campus. Our current preliminary plans call for the demolition of the following structures. Building number B, which is the barn housing the Natural History Museum, the museum artifacts will be relocated into a new construction. Building F, the landscape classroom building, the house at 143 Center Street, in the garage adjacent to the house at 143 Center Street. At a meeting of the Board of Trustees on August 14, 2017, it was unanimously voted to make any and all of these structures available to the town of Dayton for relocation and potential reuse. Please note that two of these buildings, the Center Street House and the Natural History Museum barn, may have some local historical value. So, should require additional information. If there are any specific procedural requirements, we can get back to them. So, as a board and the Historical Commission, I know will be interested in looking at this. So, we will look into it further and see what interest there is and what the possibilities are, if any, to take these buildings and relocate them. Okay?
The Harrison House at 143 Center Street, I just mentioned, I had mentioned this before, the county gave us permission for the contractor that's putting in the sidewalk to use the front yard of that property as a staging area so that equipment wouldn't always be out in the road, and to give us some room. And we're being very careful not to get too close to that house, obviously because of it does have historic value, and we thank the county for allowing us to use the front yard for staging.
And we thank them for that. Okay, the last thing I have here is an announcement from the library, and it says Dayton resident Nancy James donated a subscription to the Friends of the Library for the Heritage Museums and Gardens in Sandwich, Mass. We are grateful for her generosity and thankful to offer another museum pass to Dayton Library cardholders. So if you're interested in that, stop by the library, and they have that pass. So be a good opportunity for people.
Yeah, speaking of those library passes, I also want to mention to people, if you contact our library and they don't have a particular pass that you're looking for, if you contact, and you have a library card, if you contact, for example, the City of Taunton Library or the Somerset Library, and if they have those passes, you can get them as long as you have that library card. I was able to get Museum of Fine Arts from, I think it was Somerset, and I was able to get Isabella Stewart Gardner. I think that was the Taunton Library. But in any case, if our library doesn't have them, feel free to contact another one because they will give them to you.
I wonder if Jocelyn knows where those passes are, which libraries hold them. Do you
Or if
know?
you go online for the library.
For our library.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, she knows down there.
Oh, she knows what we have, yes.
So you could
yes.
stop down there and talk to her.
They used to carry MFA, but they weren't getting a lot of requests, so they stopped that one. And they told me, try either Taunton or Somerset, so our library can help you if they don't have the passes. They can tell you where they're available.
Okay. Any reports?
Did we have any reports?
Don't think too hard. It's okay if we don't.
Work is progressing on the two fronts, actually. If you've driven by this or gone down Center Street East, you've seen that the basic opening for the sidewalk is there. You can see the whole path that's been dug out. They started on Monday, and they've made good progress as far as getting that dug out. So that's progressing very well. There are police on duty to help with the movement of traffic. School's going to open in, I think, less than 2 weeks, so this company is going right to town. The other thing is, work is progressing down at the Main Street Zeneca drainage project. They did have some, I'll call it rubbish, for lack of a better term. They came upon some rubbish in one area, and they have brought in a team to take care of the rubbish. I think it consisted of tires and things of that nature, but our work is not involved with that. So everything is proceeding down there. Our workers have not been exposed to anything hazardous or dangerous or anything like that. So those are just project updates, and both are moving along very well.
It says, and if you like snakes, there's a big old water snake down there that's just love to have visitors. He's a big one. So Tom Ferry's been playing with him.
Mr. Ferry assured me that there were no snakes there. My first site visit, I actually photographed a small snake, The engineers that were in the swampy area saw snakes, but Mr. Ferry sent us a classic picture of this big black snake this week. So there's no question about whether or not there were snakes there.
He's a big one, and he's very brave. They were working all around him, and he wouldn't move, so protecting his territory. Okay, we have no acknowledgements. I guess approval of minutes.
If we could table those, I have corrections to make on them. Everybody has reviewed them.
Okay, okay. I guess we don't need a motion for that, do we? We just table them? Yeah, better.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we table action on minutes of the following regular meetings, June 28th, July 5th, and July 26th.
Step down in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, approval of warrants.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the following warrants. 7A-18 in the amount of $85,123.26 payroll. 7B-18 in the amount of $213,520.91. Warrant 7C-18 in the amount of $1,147,992.62. That last one being a payment to the regional school district for capital and operating, and both of those last two are accounts payable. Warrant 8A-18 in the amount of $80,242.24 payroll. Warrant 8B-18 in the amount of $174,304.96, and warrant 8C-18 in the amount of $1,268.76, the last two being accounts payable.
I'll step down in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Before we go, let me get something that they need to move to the next one.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one other announcement. I received an email today from the Mass Municipal Association Policy Committee on Energy and the Environment, and our first meeting is going to be September the 13th, and the major topic for discussion after we get all of our updates, things that happened over the summer, will be disposition of miniatures, and I didn't know what that was. Well, what they're talking about are nip bottles.
Oh, jeez.
That's a hot topic, so we've got a speaker coming into our MMA meeting to talk about that.
Yeah.
What, a nickel rebate?
Well, they're talking about a bottle bill that deals specifically with nip bottles because of the trash problem.
Oh, you walk down my street, I mean, there's hundreds of them.
You did the cleanup.
I did it honest, yeah. I know, yeah, they're everywhere. Right.
Find tons of
They actually sweep them up in Boston because they sweep the streets at least twice a week. When I walk from South Station to where the MMA office is, they're all in the gutters, and I know that those streets have been swept.
Yeah,
It's just
terrible,
endless. Lincoln Avenue, if you walk along the sidewalk along the river, everywhere. Yeah, so anyhow, that's the first meeting, and I was surprised to see that, but there is legislation, I think there are 3 different bills have been filed, so we'll see what comes out of it. That's a bottle bill I would support, by the way.
Absolutely. I just had a quick question, if it's all right.
Yep.
On the MMA newsletter,
The Beacon,
whatever it is.
yeah.
How does that work? To get on the mailing list, you have to be a department head or a selectman, or how? Can you get on that mailing list if you're interested in meeting those? Is it easier just to pick one up?
Well, you know, I mean, we can make it available because we each
They
get,
send in a number of them,
Yeah,
but for example, the Finance Committee gets one copy, and it's addressed to Mr. Swartz.
that's what I mean, yeah.
When I was on the Finance Committee, I got an additional copy because obviously I'm on that Environmental Committee.
Right.
But we do have extra ones around.
Yeah, like
so why don't we make it available, put it on that table out front?
Yeah,
So,
well,
I'll come look
I'd
at
like
it.
to learn, read about that stuff. There's a lot of information in there.
Well, it'll give you the latest news as far as a lot to do with finances, because there are a number of committees, and one of them deals obviously with finances and what kind of programs MMA is supporting. It'll give you all of the items that MMA is supporting legislation it's proposing. There's another article about best practices, you name it, and anything that MMA is doing
Department of Revenue.
is in there. Okay?
Another reason I was asking, and I know you want to get going here, I got elected appointed elected.
CPC?
Well, I'm on that, but the internal workings, they made me the treasurer. So I'm actually a treasurer instead of a clerk. I usually get elected the clerk no matter what I am. You know, Karen knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
So I know there's a lot of information you can learn about.
The other thing you can do is go to the MMA website
Mhm.
and try to set up an account and sign in, because then you can read it online.
Okay.
And you should have access, because it's going to ask you the community and what your position is. It'll also allow you to access the question and answers, and you will be allowed to post questions, but you'll also be able to read what others have posted and asked and what the response is. You're getting, if you get on there, once you get the password, you're actually accessing almost, I think everyone in the state belongs, 351 cities and towns. But try the MMA website and see if you can set up an account.
Okay,
Okay, great.
thank you.
Okay, the Historical Commission has asked us to meet in executive session concerning a real estate proposal they want to talk about. So, that being said, this is the end of our regular selectmen meeting. However, I will entertain a motion to reconvene or to convene an executive session under Mass General Law C-30A, Section 21A, Number 6, to consider purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate. If the chair declares an open meeting may be detrimental effect on the negotiation position of the public body.
Okay, I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll step down in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Wait a minute. You have to make a statement about whether or
yeah.
not you will reopen.
Yeah, we will not be returning to open session at the end of the executive session. So.
So now you can call it.
Okay, I step down in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Roll call, aye.
Aye. So we're going into executive session, so see ya.
Good night, Cable, thanks a
Thank-
lot.
Thanks.